Avery back for another Devo. Today I just wanted to go over something, just a little bit of cool parts of Ruth chapter 1 that I thought were pretty interesting that I noticed. So, just beforehand, Ruth is just such a beautiful redemption love story, and it's just gorgeous. But anyways, let's get right into it, and let's read Ruth chapter 1, verses 1 through 5. Now it came to pass in the days when the judges ruled that there was a famine in the land. And a certain man of Bethlehem, Judah, went to dwell in the country of Moab, he and his wife and his 2 sons. The name of the man was Elimelech, and the name of his wife was Naomi, and the names of his 2 sons were Mahlon and Chilion, Ephrathites of Bethlehem, Judah, and they went to the country of Moab and remained there. Then Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left, and 2 of her sons. Now they took wives of the women of Moab. The name of one was Orpah, and the name of the other was Ruth. And they dwelt there for about 10 years. Then both Mahlon and Chilion both died. So the woman survived her 2 sons and her husband. So some context, as we saw in verse 1, this was during the rule of the judges, and Naomi and her husband and 2 sons left Bethlehem, where the Lord wanted them to be, to go to Moab, thinking this would be better for them overall. And they went there, and while they were there, both of her sons got married, yay, and one of them was to Ruth, who this book is about, and the other one got married to a girl named Orpah. And so while they were there, the husband of Naomi died, and then her 2 sons, and so what was left of the family came back to Bethlehem. And Naomi realized she left Bethlehem full and came back empty. When she originally left and they were planning to leave and, get to a better place, she thought she was empty. So it was kind of switched on her. She left thinking it would be the best thing to do, when it was more like not trusting the Lord and that, oh, God can't really provide for me here, but maybe over there in Moab there will be more and it's better for my family and stuff. And it wasn't totally on Naomi. The husband was leading the house. Elimelech was the one who decided to do that, so it wasn't. But still, it was like how we can just trick ourselves to thinking that. But even though she felt empty and thought the Lord wouldn't provide her in the place he promised her to, she still, was leaning on her own understanding. But it's just really important to realize what we feel always isn't the truth. Like, sometimes I know you could feel like you're alone, like God isn't there, he's just hasn't been with you or whatever, but we can't trust what we feel, because obviously in so many passages in the Word, he's like, I'm not going to forsake you, I'm here. So we can't always trust what we feel, and we need to, no matter what, trust the things he's told us and anything inside of his Word over our own judgment any day. And if we do want to figure out what he's, trying to speak to us, we can use his discernment to understand and get through things, opposed to being like, well, I feel empty. I know the Lord wants me here, but I think over there will be better. So just kind of important to keep that in mind, of just prioritizing his words over ours any day. And I also wanted to point out, like, later when they came back to Bethlehem, people there kind of saw Naomi, and it had been, what they say, like 10 years. So she's kind of, older looking, and she'd gone through a lot of loss. So I get if it kind of was taxing on her, but they kind of didn't recognize her. And they were like, are you sure you're Naomi? Because, later in verse 20. But while explaining to them that she's like, yeah, I'm Naomi, but she changed her name, and she says, instead of Naomi, which means pleasant, she is Mara now, which literally means bitter. So she was kind of upset at the Lord for allowing her family to be dead. So it was like, oh, that's like, imagine just one Sunday seeing one of your good old friends and they're like, hey, I'm angry now. Nice to meet you. This thing happened to me over the weekend and now I hate everybody. So kind of like, oh, it's good to, okay, it's just a good thing to be like, okay, when things are going on in my life, I really don't want to push those on other people. Like, they could ask how I'm doing, but that doesn't mean I need to fully share that stuff. And then in verse 20, in chapter 1, she says, the Almighty dealt with her bitterly. And the name she uses for God in that certain context is like Almighty, El Shaddai, opposed to earlier when she was talking, whenever she talked about the Lord, she would always use Yahweh, which is more his name, and then she also used Elohim earlier in the book. which is just a title, but Almighty is also a title, but still, this one's not specifically recognizing his immense strength and power. So, but here she's using another name, roping in just what's currently happening to her, and if that makes sense. Like, she's like, hey guys, I'm Mara, I'm super bitter now, but I just wanted to let you know what's been going on in my life. Like, the Almighty, the super powerful, reigning over all God, he's bitterly dealt with me. Instead of being like, oh, like, I have no idea what Yahweh, my God, has been doing up in HQ. And it's been hard, but, something like that. But instead, it's just like she's taking it out. And I don't know, I just thought that was kind of interesting how she kind of switched it up, and a good thing to really focus on, like, what's going on in your life. Like, try not to push that on other people and kind of change how you view God. It's just a good reminder not to be swayed and let our feelings and circumstances change how we view God, because during that he didn't change. So why do we feel the need to talk about him different, but he didn't change. That's so good. During that, like during our, I don't know, just I'm kind of relating this to if you did have a struggle or something, like he didn't change while you were in that. He stayed the same and still loving and all that stuff. But it's just so sweet and so cool to just really focus on him. We just need to get it off of ourselves and not try to drag that on other people. But I thought that was really cool. And more like nothing like too crazy this time, but I just thought that was sweet, like a good reminder to always just speak of the Lord the way he needs to, the way he, respect him the way he deserves, and all the things I thought was pretty sweet. So yeah, with that, I thank you guys for your time, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.